All right, welcome to episode number 192 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast. We are recording on January the 22nd, 2023. My name's Eric. I'm the host of the show based in Southern Ontario. Yeah, you know what I say all the time. It's 192 episodes. I am not reading this, Ian, even though it is funny.
It's okay. Sometimes you just be open about your predilections. It's good, right?
It's true. It's true.
Buddy.
Yeah. Anyways, well, my name is Ian. I'm a lumberjack, and I'm okay. I'm on Vancouver Island.
Are you okay, though? Because look what you wrote.
Well, the guy that was a lumberjack in Monty Python wasn't overly okay either, but hey.
Fair enough.
And I'm Jeff. I'm based in Central Ontario. I'm a target shooter, ham radio operator, general overall handyman, and weather nerd.
My name's Pierre. I'm a tactical beard owner, a t-shirt design guru, and a government critique.
And if you want to help to support the show and keep the Canadian Prepper Podcast on the air, buy some swag. We have the Canadian Prepper Podcast t-shirt, nicely modeled there by Ian, and the tactical Velcro patch. You can get them at www.prepperpodcast.ca. All proceeds help keep the lights on and the backup generator fueled.
If you're enjoying the show, please take a few minutes, like us on Facebook, and submit a review on iTunes. Also, we want your feedback, good or bad,
Don't mess
or
it
if
up.
there's just a topic. I know. If you want us to, or if there's a topic you want us to cover, you can email us feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
Well, look at that. You got through all of that without saying Patriot.
Yeah, I know. I worked really hard on it.
All right, we got some aspiring content for you in this episode. We're going to start off with some recent news articles. We'll update you on what we've done for our personal preparedness since the last episode. We're going to get into the main topic, our goals for 2023. Let's move into the news.
Stuff. Anyways, let's see here. Davos 2023, which is the World Economic Forum meetup. Plenty of conspiracy theory fuel going on there. I'm very glad they're looking out for our best interests and wanting us to live in 15-minute cities and eat bugs and all that other stuff. But yeah, there's been some interesting stuff. We'll talk about that later in the show. But so that was the thing today. I know it's very much a benevolent thing for humanity when they need 5,000 armed guards to protect them when they're doing it. But hey, anyway, a couple fun things for you. BC sets up an exchange zone for online deals. So if you're doing a CGN deal, they said there's a spot, their detachment, people can show up and meet up and safely do internet commerce online, or internet commerce that they started online in person.
A bunch of our local detachments have that.
Yep. That's been a thing in Ontario for a while.
Well, something tells me I don't think they'd appreciate the CGN deals I do showing up there, but anyway, I just find it funny because, you guys were talking about the privacy issues and the, with the cyber security and everything else. And there it is, something that's right next to a cop station that's on video 24/7. And, just one little less bit of privacy, to say the least, right?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you're going to be on video there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on your level of comfort, I suppose. And really, if you're making an online purchase and you feel the need to be at a police station to make said exchange, should you be making the exchange?
Yeah, maybe don't do it.
I don't know. If I'm that worried about an exchange, I think I'm just gonna back out of it. But that's me.
It's fair. Also, so I on that same kind of vein, I had a Highway Big Brother article. So it was on iHeartRadio, and basically BC government is adding sensors to the interior highways to monitor commercial vehicle compliance. So interesting thing about these sensors that they're adding, they sense tire wear, like how much tire wear you have. Your last time your engine was serviced, they can sense your weight on wheels and all this other stuff. I'm like, wow, it's getting pretty crazy. Which obviously they could take from that aspect of just commercial vehicles only to every vehicle before long, in order to maintain their highways a little more easily and stuff. It's just a encroaching privacy thing. It's kind of interesting.
So what's the purpose?
Yeah, that's going a little far.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind that?
The reasoning was that they want commercial vehicles to stay within their gross weights and within their maintenance schedules to make the highways safer and less wear and tear on the highways. But in reality, it's extremely invasive monitoring of just commercial vehicles for now, but that's how it always starts, right? And then before you know, it'll be all vehicles because it works so well with the commercial ones and everything else.
So you guys should do like we do in Ontario and just have weigh stations. Where
Well,
they
we
gotta
have
pull
those,
in
but
and they
they're
weigh them. Okay.
so what we have those, but what they do is they do like 8 hours a day, and so for 16 hours a day, the trucks are racing by them, and nobody's checking anything, of course. And then during the hours that the weigh stations are open, there's very little vehicle traffic. It's so weird for commercial vehicles.
Yeah, that's the way it works here
So-
too.
Yeah, everybody wants a 9 to 5. So if you're doing something shady, you do it between the 5 and 9.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just I have many. Do I have an episode for you?
exactly.
What could possibly go wrong with this system?
Yeah.
Mm.
Last one I had was just I guess nobody's surprised that Russia's saber rattling some more, but I guess they're getting a little bit pissy about other countries supplying Ukraine with weapons. And so they're making some pretty direct threats saying, like, prepare for a conflagration if you supply Ukraine with more tanks, missiles, bullets, whatever. And I guess it's we're kind of numb to it now, but I guess 10 years ago this would have been a bigger deal. But anyway.
What I think is going to come out of it, it's just my opinion. The West is kind of bitching at Germany right now because in order for any country to loan Ukraine a Leopard tank that are built in Germany, Germany has to approve it, and Germany's not approving it right now. And the US and Canada and all them are basically giving them grief and telling them, oh, you've got to, and there may be a very good reason why Germany doesn't want to be because as soon as they sign off on it, they're going to be target number one. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. We should all gang up on Germany and tell them how wrong they are because it didn't backfire last time.
Yeah, it did well, right?
Yeah. Fun.
Anyway.
yeah, I've just got one, and it's been an ongoing thing. So there's been another attack on a North Carolina power substation. This is the third one since late November. This one wasn't as successful as the previous one. They did some damage, but I don't believe that this one was successful in knocking out power to the 40,000 people for the substation or whatever. But again, this is the third one in North Carolina. They had a bunch of them out in Washington State. So it's still going around. Of course, if you're the FBI or the U.S. government, you want to blame it on white supremacy, but that's their opinion.
So yeah, was it rifles again, or was it like a truck, or like what did they use this time?
It didn't say actually on this one. I don't believe. Let me. I poached it from somebody off of
The URL says
Discord.
says gunfire.
I'll admit
So-
that. So
So it looks like it's
yeah,
gunfire.
yeah.
again.
Just say another electrical station was damaged by gunfire, making the third incident since November.
That's interesting. So
Crazy.
obviously somebody's got a Professor Ted thing going on right now. So
Yeah, and money to spare to buy ammo.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I know where he's finding those large rifle primers if he's reloading, but I mean good for him.
Yeah, not here.
All right. Well, shall we move into what we've done lately for preps?
I just moved some of my firewood around, moved it from my storage shed to under the carport, so it's a bit easier to get to in the middle of the night. I did some fuel rotation and did a meetup today with a local prepper group.
Yeah. Too bad I couldn't make it out to that one, but next month.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I see there's some good conversation going on there. So for myself, yearly water maintenance or water system maintenance. So as I've touched on before, we're on well and septic here. So I have to swap out some filters and UV light and all that kind of fun stuff. And the EMP hardening has begun. So got the EMP shield installed here on the electrical panels. And no, I did not do it myself. I contacted an electrician that was going to be here anyways for some other work, and I said, "Hey, while you're here, do you mind sticking your hands in the electrical panel? Because I don't want to." And he was more than happy to take my money to do it. So it's all installed and set up now. And then I put the 12-volt DC end on the generator here, and we're off to the races. So still have to do the vehicles, but it has started. The hard stuff, at least, that I wasn't willing to do, is now done. So but,
Did
that was fun.
the electrician kind of snicker at you, or did he make any comment or anything? Or
No, not at all.
No?
No, he's good. He's a good electrician. He doesn't. I just said, hey, I got a couple of surge protectors. And he said, okay, and that's what we left it at. And
okay,
he saw the documentation. It's they're plastered all over an EMP shield, so he didn't care. He was making money. They're literally just surge protectors. So he kind of questioned the generator panel when I was asking him before he came here if he was able to put one on the generator panel. He was like, well, I can, but I've never really done that before. I said, well, I got all the instructions of the manufacturer. And he said, okay. He didn't, no qualms, no. And I know I've seen a lot of reviews, mostly in the States, from people asking electricians to put them in, and they won't do it because they don't understand what it is or what it's all about. I just told them it's a surge protector because technically it is. And
Yep.
Yeah, no problems at all. Easy.
The
He had it done in an hour. Yeah.
The electrician didn't understand the instructions of how to hook it up to electricity.
No, some people, I guess, reading reviews and such, have told electricians, "Hey, it's it's a EMP shield. It blocks electromagnetic pulses and blah blah blah." And they go into the big brand page about what it's all about, what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the electrician now has questions because they're installing a device that they, what is that all about? It's a surge protector. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Done.
No. Okay.
So
you just have to worry about whether or not EMP shield is actually on the good guy side or the bad guy side, and if they're actually making you more vulnerable and less vulnerable, and if they're funded by the CIA. And
well, if they are, I'm already on a list. So
there you go.
Listen away, NSA.
yep.
It's fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah, NASA.
Yeah.
All right. As for myself, actually, lumberjack duties. Been on lumberjack duty for about 4 days now. My next door neighbor has had a hip replacement. He's one of the good neighbors I have, and he was trying to get some work done before he was off like physical duties here for the next 3 months while he was healing. So he offered if I was willing to knock down some trees. I think last week I started knocking them down and hauling them away. Well, I even did another 5 trees today, but it's all firewood for next year, right? So for the sake of a little bit of labor, a lot of free wood coming my way, which is good. So that was pretty good. And then, yeah, that's why I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. Tried a new canned chicken recipe for the first time. Just trying to get make use of those canned chickens and stuff like that, because you can't just eat plain canned chicken during the apocalypse. You got to have some like flair to it, right? So a lot of coronation chicken, and in celebration of Charles' upcoming nuptials, I guess, so to speak. Coronation chicken is like a curry chicken. It's pretty good. Let's see here. Bought another chainsaw and some spare chains because 2 is 1, 1 is none. And
what'd you get?
Actually, I'm sticking with the Echo line of chainsaws because they're kind of like the Toyota of the chainsaw world. And so I've got a big 590 now. I've got a little delimber, which is like a single hand chainsaw, like a pruning chainsaw. And now I got a middle of the road 35cc, kind of like it's a 16-inch bar. So I got a 20-inch bar, 16 and 14 now, and just for all sorts of duties and stuff. And one's a little less draining on you than carrying around the big 20-inch bar thing that's like 20 pounds, and like so it's a little more easy to wield around during the day. So yeah, so now I got a little bit of everything.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's kind of good. Let's see here. I've been battling with mice for 3 months now. So we redid the basement, sealed off everything with steel wool and insulation and everything else. House is fine because between bait stations and traps, we haven't had any sort of mouse action in the house. But now they actually literally have commuted over to the chicken coops and the hay shed. And so now we're continuing the battle there. And like, if I had to feed my dogs on mice alone during the apocalypse, I could probably do it right now because we're getting about 6 or 7 in the traps each day, plus the bait stations and so on and so on. And we actually had a couple like drowning in buckets of water. And so, yeah, the battle continues outside, and yeah, whatever, we're winning. So it's happy.
So much fun.
Yeah.
As long as they stay outside. I mean, I know they probably cause problems around the chicken coop and all that, but as long as they're outside, not inside.
Yeah, but honestly, like all of our feed is in galvanized steel garbage cans and stuff. So I don't know. I think they're just doing it for the shelter because it's winter. I don't think they're actually getting much. Yeah, and they might be getting a little food out of the chicken feeder, but that's about it. But if the chickens see them, they'll eat them. Like the chickens will grab them. But so maybe they're going in there at night or whatever. But anyway, I had a little battle on the acreage a couple days ago. I had the cougar battle, so I had another kitty cat on the property. This one ended in a tie. He said I didn't lose any alpacas or lose any chickens, but he ended up a tree and trapped by the puppies. So that was good. And then unfortunately he got away on us. But anyway, at least no damage was done. So that's good. And then the last thing here, I guess chickens are back in lay. So unlike every other year, we had a lot more chickens. So we're down to like maybe 20 now. And so not all of them even lay anymore, but they took a time off from about middle of November now to this week because the light levels. And so finally they're back in lay. So now we're getting about 2 or 3 eggs a day, but it's going to start increasing here. But now we know we need to get more chickens to make it through the winter, right? Somebody's got to say something. Oh. Okay.
Start
Alright.
selling those eggs. You can make a fortune nowadays.
Yeah, like it's like if you want to show off wealth right now, it's the eggs thing, right? But yeah, that's what kind of actually stirred us back to get more chickens. I think this spring is because we don't have quite enough to make it through the dark days without stopping production completely. So that kind of sucks.
Have you tried that? The way of storing them. What is it? Is it
Glassing?
pickling? Yeah, like pickling vinegar or whatever, and you leave them straight out. You can jar them; they last like a year in there.
Glassing them.
Something like
Yeah, I've
that.
done the glass.
It's called glassing them. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
You can't do it with store bought or
Store-bought.
anything. They've got to be fresh, untouched. But yeah, it's
Yeah, the bloom can't be off the eggs. So we did it once and it worked really well. And so, but we realized that now that if you are going to glass eggs, you have to do it in a smaller container. We did it in a 5-gallon bucket. And so now we're going to start doing it this summer. We put like 7 dozen in a big 5-gallon bucket just to try it out because we had so many extra eggs back then. And it worked great, but one burst, right? And so now we had a bunch of like egg broth in all the eggs. So if you're going to do it in like a 2-gallon or 2-liter jar and it'll work much better. That way, if one goes off, it's not going to kill everything. But yeah, it worked well for us. This last summer, we didn't have enough eggs to do it. So, yeah, we just didn't have any spare eggs to. We were selling so many, it was crazy. So I think this spring we're going to try and get a few more chickens back online. So if we do have extra, we'll start glassing them again. I think for the fall.
Nice. Yeah, I was curious if that actually worked or if anybody had tried it.
Yeah, what was it? Pre-COVID, Eric? We were talking about that.
Yeah, it was pre-COVID. Yeah, it's a little while now.
Yeah, so we did it. I let them go a year just to see what would happen, and after a year, still good. And that was just like room temperature in a bucket in my closet.
Yeah.
So
all right,
that's pretty good.
Well, good to know.
Yeah. Taking part in the Daily Ruck Challenge with the Canadian Patriot Podcast. So I'm trying to do hikes with weight. I guess 22 pounds is the minimum, and we're trying to do distance and time. I guess right now. So I think week 1 just finished up today, and then we're on to next week. And a little bit of gas rotation. That's pretty much it for me.
So Brittany's asking, do you ferment your chicken feed?
No. We tried that once, and basically we were doing it in our laundry room, and the stink was kind of like, because if you ferment it just the right amount, there's no stink. If you ferment it about 12 hours too much, then it starts to like smell like ass. So it's not worth doing it for the amount of chickens we had. And I know there's some health benefits to it, but it's just like keeping it simple. So between all the green bin stuff they get, they're getting plenty of variety and all sorts of minerals and nutrients and stuff. So you forget it's good enough.
How do you ferment it? Like I don't have chickens, obviously, and whatever. Is it?
Well, you can't do chicken feed.
I'm looking at it going, I'll just pour my beer on the food and it'll ferment.
Yeah, no, you can't just take chicken pellets, which is just crushed or compressed alfalfa, right? You can't really do that. But you can actually get like some seeds, like I think what was the wife using? I think she's using bean seeds or some other stuff. Anyways, you just put a little bit of water and basically it starts to ferment after a day or two. And yeah, but we were so busy with other things, it just didn't work out well for us. But,
Okay.
I mean, some people, it's kind of like sprouting, the same idea for chickens, but it provides them with just like sauerkraut for us. It's like a good thing, right? But anyway, wasn't our thing.
Mel mentions double check the feed. We got a few friends that do chicken, and they've started switching around a bunch of recipes or whatever. Happened to our dog too. Our dog's allergic to chicken. We, after 2 days and 2 weeks of researching which dog food doesn't have chicken byproduct in it, all of a sudden he's scratching every 30 seconds and everything. Same bag, nothing's changed, but just after like 9 months, they put chicken byproduct in it. So yeah, just at least around here, some people have started switching stuff around in their foods that they're getting rid of, getting pellets and making their own feed. Pretty much, it's been better. I don't know if that's going to affect you out there, but
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like we have we used to get the GMO free. We used to get the organic stuff, and now we got the GMO free layer pellets, which are pretty good. But honestly, like that's kind of a secondary thing to the green bin spare, food that we're not eating or whatever. They're like pigs with feathers, right? They'll eat everything. So just
yeah,
throw it in the coop and it kind of disappears.
nice.
Yeah.
So what I've done is we've done a little bit of food prep. I practiced my leveling skills ×2. And so the initial property we were considering looking at or whatever, we found out 90% of it we weren't able to do anything. So we're still looking. Are we going to go property, build a house in a few years this year, buy a house around here? So we're looking at that. Those options. We've got a few things lined up for either this week or next week. Week 1 of the Ruck Challenge is done. And we also made ourselves a little bit better in case the power goes out. We ended up buying that propane 3-foot like grill top with like the air fryer and yeah, that big fancy one you guys saw. So we haven't taken it out of the box just in case we move soon. I don't want to move it built, but we'll see. So yeah, that looks like it's going to be a nice added thing to anytime we cook outside.
So what happened to the property? Was it you found out it's mostly environmentally protected? Is that the deal, or?
Yeah. So they had, it was 12.5 acres, I think, a bunch of stuff already on it and everything, and they said some of it is protected wetland.
Yeah.
So when we went and saw the property, I was like, okay, what's protected, what's not, and everything. And they gave us all the paperwork that the previous person had applied for septic permits and this, that, and where they wanted to put the house. And I'm looking at the paperwork, and I was just like, ask her how much is protected wetland. Like a little over 10 of the 12 acres was protected land. So I'm like, so I'm only getting 2 acres. Like I'm not paying that price for 2 acres. So I was like, take that off your list. So yeah, we've got a few other options around here, and so we'll see that whole other rabbit hole we can go down.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, with that, shall we move into tonight's main topic?
I guess if we're talking about prepper goals for 2023, I guess we need to figure out what we're all lacking on more than anything else. I mean, I guess it's perfect. Yeah, I'm pretty much squared away at this point. Like, I'm pretty much good to go. No, the problem is I think with a lot of people that either they don't want to admit to what they're lacking or what they failed at or whatever. I think so. There's a lot of times where people have a tough time goal setting because they just don't want to, I guess, face not so much a failure, but just like a lack of or a gaping hole in their preps more than anything else, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, my ongoing one has been water because not like there's no shortage of it falling from the sky in the wintertime, but during the summer we get zero rain for 6 months of the year. So obviously, unless we're willing to run a generator, we're not going to have any sort of water supply here because there's no power, no water here. So yeah, I guess number one for me is water storage increase because between firefighting, obviously human consumption, animal needs, and everything else, like it's kind of a big weak point for us. So there's lots of things we can do. I mean, we can get a tank at the top of the property where we can flow via gravity down to the house for firefighting or for toilet filling or anything else. It's just one of those things that's been sitting on the back burner for quite a while. I don't know if you guys have any sort of elevation change, but if you run water downhill just via gravity, you get about, I think it's 0.8 psi for every foot of head pressure. So it'll build up fast if you go down 30 feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I guess that's number one for me. And of course, yeah, but with the animals, if we get more chickens, then we don't want to be stuck without water for any sort of length of time either, right? So on that note, I guess we should talk about the sauna I mentioned a little while ago too. So because I've been doing all the lumberjacking next door, I haven't been able to clear the property for the sauna project. But one of the reasons we're doing that is because, again, without power, it's hard to get hot water as well because you don't have a 220 volt system running 24/7, even with the Screamin' Demon Champion generator. So a lot of these saunas have water sleeves on the chimney, or they have a big pocket beside it that traditionally they would do laundry in. And so one of the reasons we started talking about hot saunas was not just the hygiene aspect, but also hot water production. And yeah, which is kind of cool. Like, so if we have rainwater supplying a sauna for a tank, and then have that making hot water, then also it's a lot easier. You
So
make
is
sure
the
this,
sauna wood fired then to heat the water?
yeah, it's gonna be wood fired. And so like during the summer, especially, like if you want to create hot water in the house here, you'd have to run the fire. But if it's already 25, 30 degrees out, you don't want to run the
No,
fireplace
no,
in the
definitely
house,
not.
right?
Yep.
No.
So I
Yep.
mean, but the sauna's I guess a nice alternative to the fact that, yeah, you can heat that up all you want, and that's kind of what you want anyways if you want to have it for hygiene. So there's no harm done if you run the fireplace in the summer, other than the obvious fire hazard. So yeah, it's just something to think about as well. Which I think we're just trying to think about how we can keep that chimney, to keep any ash or anything from flying out of the chimney and creating a fire hazard. But so that's there's more than one reason we were building the sauna anyway. So that was kind of our main prepper goal for this year. You
So
guys-
parties at Ian's place.
Well, yeah, but there's certain rules with traditional saunas, right? And just saying, clothing optional.
Will there be glow sticks?
I'm gonna get some LED lights from China and have them underneath the benches. I'm thinking, right? And maybe some strobes and some like rave music or something. I don't know, but
Maybe
now there's
put
a
a disco
competition.
ball up on the ceiling, you know?
yeah, I could do that too. Why not? Yeah. So I guess that was their big thing here. Let's see here. Storage rotation. Yeah. So we've got, a decent pantry, a decent kind of storage setup on the property, but I think our biggest goal that we've kind of been like lacking on is trying to get everything rotated properly, because all of a sudden you'll discover this, like, oh, I've got 3 cans of instant coffee that are from 2017. I should probably get on that. And so yeah, it's what it is. Like, I know the reasoning for doing like a concentrated area of like supply dumps, like having like all your chicken in one place. By the same token, diversity is a strength, so to speak. So you might want to have them spread out a bit, and in which case then rotation becomes a problem. Is what's oldest and what you have to use first and everything else. You guys been running into that at all?
Can't
Yes.
say nope.
No. Well, I know you don't believe in preps anyway, but I'm just
What are you talking about, preps? I don't know this. prep
yeah,
thing.
you don't want to be one of those hoarders that has food.
No,
and stuff.
no, yeah, no, that'd be weird. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't
So,
dress fancy enough to be a prep.
No.
That's right.
Wait a minute, I'm on the wrong podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess that's the other thing I wanted to really talk about was the storage rotation, or how to get more, diligent with that more than anything else.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, right? It kind of goes, what am I going to use? What am I not going to use? You pick up something that you're not going to use and it sits forever. How do you rotate that, right? It's
Give it away.
yeah,
Well,
good. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But even
At
giving
that,
away
at
stuff,
that point,
problem is like the food banks won't take it if it's past expiry, and we know that
Right, yeah.
canned goods are good past expiry, but not everybody else is willing to jump on that bandwagon. So
True.
it's hard. Like, so you have 2 cases of beans and they're like 2 weeks out of date. I don't want to toss them. I know I want to use them, but I don't eat beans every day. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like kind of a waste. I don't want to waste any food if I can help it. So
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah,
now
That's a
there's
tricky one.
Yeah, what I found my kind of situation was I would go like once a month in shops. I would buy this and buy that and figure it out. But by the time I was getting close to the end of the month, some of the stuff I bought, I'd pull it out and I'd look at it and I'd go like, crap, it's expired, or it's already starting to turn color and whatever. So I kind of got to rethink my process of not buying everything at once and splitting it up and maybe going once every couple of weeks and just getting it so I don't have as much waste, shall we say. So
well, yeah, I think it's obviously quite predictable. But when the kids moved out, we were buying stuff to maintain a level of food to keep up with their converting food into altitude kind of like intake levels, right?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
so they leave the house, and even if we stopped buying them, we still have this backlog of food that they were expecting them to use and they didn't. So as older people, we don't eat as much, and so yeah, it's kind of tough. Like, now also we got a bunch of stuff that I'm not interested in eating, like pizza pops or whatever, they were eating. So now we're having this bunch of this stuff sit and get older and older and older, and so
drink more whiskey. The pizza pockets will turn out fantastic.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, I should probably give it a try. But it's also around the hard 75, so it's I've got like what, a month to go still.
Mm.
So
They'll last.
yeah, they'll last.
You'll only need one glass after the 75.
Yeah, exactly. And the pizza pockets will probably last until like 2033 or something like that. So
Yeah, for sure.
Before you got to kind of consider doing something with them, but you got
Yeah.
an extra 10 years after that, so you're
they're
okay.
kind of like Twinkies or something. They're
Yeah.
probably good forever. But I think that's pretty much it. Oh, I guess the last thing I guess Pierre's going to probably touch on it as well is I got to work on some better target and distance loads for reloading. So like I have a distance rifle that I haven't really played with as much as I would like. So I mean that's kind of one of those things that just for X's and G's, I think, and maybe to help with hunting down the road, I'd like to stretch it out. I was talking to Gavin the other day, and I don't think I've shot an air rifle past maybe 450. And so, I mean, I'd like to get it out to like 600 just to give it a try. And then in which case I'm going to have to, up my reloading game a little bit because I've been pretty sloppy with it so far. So more ladder loads in my future, I'm thinking.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so that's something to kind of work towards this year. And hopefully I have the opportunity to do it since I'm going to be like coach surfing at his place quite a bit. So the last thing, I guess, is kind of universal after you hit, there's certain people that are turning 50 this year that shall remain unnamed. And so, losing weight.
Alan,
So,
right? Alan?
Yeah, Alan, of course. Yeah. So, I got to lose some weight, and I had put on I was call my COVID 20. So I got to get rid of that. So hard 75 is a thing, and the rock challenge is a thing, and
Start shooting out to 600 yards and walk out to your target.
Yeah, or sprint.
Sprint there,
yeah,
sprint back.
whichever way, even just walking,
Yeah.
right? Like, walk out after every 5 shot and you shoot 50 rounds, like 600 yards there, 600 yards back.
It's a lot of
Steps
steps.
in no time.
My little loop out behind the house here is 4.2 or 4.4K every day, which is a start. I mean, that's not great,
Nice.
but between that and the lumberjack and everything else, it's not like I'm not doing stuff. It's just, yeah. Anyway,
Good.
that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, for me, I've got a couple of things that I want to try to accomplish here for 2023. They've been on the list for a while, but maybe 2023 will be the year that I get to doing them. We'll see. We'll find out. First off on the list, I've already kind of touched on it, some EMP hardening. So that's been on the list for quite a while. It's really just been a matter of finding something that is going to work or is really available on the market. So with EMP Shield being out there, I've started with that, but including with even just hardening the house here and the vehicles, I've already got EMP Doctor's devices on the vehicles here, but I figured I would switch out for EMP Shield just because they've got the laboratory testing behind them. Not to say that EMP Doctor stuff isn't good, because I'm still going to use that on a vehicle or two here, but I'm going to flip the truck to EMP Shield. So that's still on the list, but I do have the house done, like I said. But also going to continue working on the Faraday box. So I've got my little 50 cal ammo can here. I might got another one that is pending to be turned into a Faraday box. So I want to get that one all done as well. So I've got two, because go back to the whole two is one is none kind of idea. So I can stash one elsewhere. Gardening is another thing. So we've got a little raised bed here. But got just about an acre of land, so I'd like to really plan out this year what it is I'm going to do with it and how I can actually utilize it, because we've spent a lot of time backfilling and getting the property kind of the way we want it, and it's nice and cleared out now, and all fenced off as well. So it'll hopefully help keep out a few animals. It's not going to stop all of them, but maybe help with a few. But it's finally kind of where we want it. We got a little bit more grading to do just to get rid of some water, but once we get that sorted, I'd like to really dive into getting a decent garden going and maintaining it, which is obviously going to be a lot of work, but I want to make best use I can out of the property. So that's definitely on the list here.
A random question about the EMP
go for
Shield. So the EMP Doctor stuff, that was the stuff you plugged into the car cigarette lighter, right?
Yeah.
So
so he's got it plugs into, there's a little trap device that plugs into the like the cigarette lighter, and then there's another device that goes across the positive and negative terminal, and then a couple of what's the word I'm looking for? There are a couple of chokes that go over the positive negative battery terminal, like the battery wires.
Okay.
So with EMP Shield, it's a little bit of a different setup. So there's no nothing to plug into the 12-volt cigarette lighter. It's literally positive, negative terminals on the battery, and then you find a spot to ground to the vehicle itself, the chassis, and that's how they do it. And there's nothing else to hook up, so there's nothing else to plug in or do. It's just positive, negative, and ground. That's the main differences. And then on top of that, EMP Shield's done a bunch of laboratory testing in the States. There's a lab that actually can simulate the amount of power that's generated in EMP and see how the device actually reacts, and it shunts all the excess power to ground in some ridiculously short period of time. Like we're talking like nanoseconds.
So I want to get the EMP gun that they use to simulate it or something. That'd be great if you just like.
Yeah, I can make some calls. Let's see what we can do.
A man-portable version would be fantastic.
I actually do want to have. I've been chasing EMP Shield to get one of their representatives on the show to come and just tell us about it, because we've already done EMP Doctor, so why not have EMP Shield come out as well and give their side of things, because may as well hear both sides, right?
Did you send them the receipt for everything you purchased as well? Maybe that'll get them.
Oh, maybe it will. Maybe it will. I'm sure they're already fully aware of what I've purchased.
Yeah,
no, actually, that's good, because I'd love to see them on there and like at least get another perspective on it as well. Yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
And again, not saying EMP Doctor stuff isn't good. And it is. He obviously knows his stuff. He's very smart, but it's always nice to have two competing options to choose from.
Yeah.
Both, I'm sure, are equally good and have they're different ways of doing things, but be nice to get their view on it as well.
That's actually a good question by Joey. So Joey says, I wonder if an EMP Shield will help a Tesla or hybrid. Well,
I've wondered that too.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think anything's going to help those, because I mean, like the average car is going to have a few systems go offline, but I'm thinking a Tesla will just be like black.
Mm-hmm.
Like there won't be a screen live on that thing at that point. But
yeah, I'm kind of curious. We if we do get them out, we'll definitely ask that question. Because
have they tested it already
on Tesla? I don't know, not that I'm aware of, but
but hybrids, like if they're going to do it for cars,
yeah,
they might have tested it on the hybrid. Maybe not the Teslas or the full electrics, but I'd be curious if they tested it on hybrids as well. And
yeah,
maybe they're in the works with or something. That'd be cool.
Maybe, yeah. I'm quite curious as to how that would work. Not that I would ever buy a Tesla, because but,
or a hybrid, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. The machine I'm driving at work right now, it's actually kind of funny, because it's so EMP shielded right now, which I didn't realize it at first. Can't get a Wi-Fi signal, can't get a Bluetooth signal, can't get anything into the room I'm in. So I'm just like, wow, that's pretty hardcore. So cell phones don't work. Like it's
that's all right.
Yeah, interesting. So
cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gardening, I was going to ask you your question there. Are you going to lean towards like lettuce or stuff you can't get at Costco, or like calorie dense stuff, or what are you going to lean towards?
Yeah, leaning more towards like the vegetables. So you had lettuce, peppers, tomatoes, like the standard stuff. The stuff that we can get the kids to eat would be kind of nice. So believe it or not, they will still eat tomatoes and peppers. Maybe tomorrow that'll change, but for now they will. Yeah. So we'll take that. But just that kind of stuff to start out. And so I'm already comfortable with it. I'm just not, I've only grown like one or two in the raised bed here. Yeah. So we can spread it out a bit and do a little bit more of that, and then build on it from there each year, add something different that I'm not overly comfortable with, and expand it out as we can. But really just this year's finding where to set it up and actually set it up properly.
In our tiny little plot of land that we actually had that was workable, we put some potatoes in. And at first it worked great because the alpacas wouldn't touch the potato leaves. Because I guess they're really bitter or something anyways. And then so that's one of the few plants they won't touch. All of a sudden, one of our guys developed a taste for it. And one day later, gone. So I was like, great. And same thing with Jerusalem artichoke, because that's one of those things like a sunchoke. It's like a tuber. It's a potato type. You can eat it raw or cooked. And they're like very invasive, so they grow like wildfire. But unfortunately, rabbits love those too, so you got to really protect them. But they are kind of a good little prepper food to try.
Good to know. We got lots of rabbits around here.
Rabbit.
What's that?
Depends if you prefer eating rabbit.
Well, if you want to attract them in, it's a little bait station, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Going back to EMP and Tesla for a second there. Dan has the solution, so we're good now. Just wrap the Tesla in tinfoil. There we go.
Yeah.
Problem
I
solved.
mean, maybe that's what they did with that truck. That's why it's silver. And it's like,
Maybe, yeah.
that's why it's not working so well either. But anyway.
Also on my list here is, and this is going to be a fun one with 2 kiddos in the house, but organization. So I'm going to try and get a little bit better organized here. I've got the bad habit of coming in from a run with the radio out to Parks on the Air or something and just throwing all the cables and whatever I had out and about in the corner and not packing it back away or leaving it in the truck for a month or so until I use it again. So I'm going to try and focus a little bit more on organizing. So we'll see how that goes. Usually I try that for a month and then I fail.
Well,
we'll
kids
see
are
how it
usually
goes.
good about that because usually if you leave it in the front foyer or something, the kids will just grab it and start running, running around the house with it and stuff. So it kind of forces you to put it away properly.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But it's on the list. Starting out slowly. I've been 3D printing some stuff to get a lot of stuff up off the workbench and the desk and all that and up on the wall and put away where it should be. So the nerd in me is happy with being able to use the 3D printer for that. So we'll see. We'll see if that helps. But that's a good segue into the next one on the list here is learning how to actually design things that I can print. So I've been taking a lot of files off of like Thingiverse and all those other like printables.com and such, and getting comfortable with the 3D printer using other people's designs. So I'd like to really focus on being able to design my own things. So if I have a piece or a part or something that I need to replace, or if there's something I want to make, I want to start getting into actually designing it on my own. So I've got a couple of what I think will be fairly simple things to try. We'll see.
I heard that I heard AR lowers are actually quite simple in design. I'm just saying, like for tomorrow's podcast.
Pretty sure somebody's already made a file for that.
Yeah. And what they call that one that was originally the Freedom, whatever it was. It was like a single shot, and it was good for like 2 shots, and then it kind of exploded in your hand and stuff. But
that doesn't sound like fun at all.
No.
No.
Yeah, but if I can figure out a way to design a few things that I would otherwise have to hunt down or try to purchase elsewhere, I think that would be quite useful to actually know, instead of just downloading files that somebody else has done, knowing how to actually design something myself and print it out and actually make it usable will be much more beneficial. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, I got a couple of basic ideas. Of course, they are all around ham radio, because where else would my ideas come from?
Well, you gotta organize all the stuff that you
right.
take out
Yes.
do all this. Yeah, I mean they go hand in hand.
They do go hand in hand. Yeah. So I've got a couple of things I want to design for some ham radio stuff. So we'll see.
Nice.
And then from there, hopefully I can expand out and make some other things for other stuff, such as maybe an EMP shield for a Tesla. Who knows?
Can you print that much tinfoil?
We're gonna find out.
So I've got a few things, not in any particular order, just what I was kind of thinking about. So I want to finish my large Faraday box. I was, as some other people probably, I was gung-ho. I got it already, got the wheels on it, did all that stuff, got it like 75% done, and then crap happened and it just kind of got pushed off to the side. And so that's probably almost the number one thing on my list right now that I want to get finished. It's a more of a larger metal toolbox, so I can put my my small inverter generator will fit in there. So I want to put one of the generators in there, maybe a couple of solar panels and a charge controller and an inverter, that kind of stuff, and just tack it up there and leave it. And if I need it, I need it. Hopefully I don't, but if I need it, it's there. So build up my firewood supply. I'd like to be at least 2 years ahead. I'm okay now. I mean, it's been really no winter here. I haven't even used up what I had under my carport now. So I think I'm going to be fine, but I don't want to get lax on it or fall behind. So the big thing for me this year, I guess probably number one thing besides the Faraday box, is once it starts to get warm, I want to get a garden going. With the cost of everything, and I was at Walmart the other day, and there wasn't a lot of stuff on the shelves anymore. And so, looking at building some raised garden beds. I just got to figure out where to do it here because I'm kind of surrounded by trees, and I don't have a lot of sun area except on my front yard next to the road, which I'm not so sure is a fabulous place to put the garden. But I'll figure something out, I'm sure. And then I really want to get going with my pressure canner and get my pantry filled with canned food, get me away from having to rely on a freezer and electricity. So, I mean, I've got the pressure canner. I want to get going on it. And one of the ladies that was at our prepper meet get together today, she lives about 15 minutes down the road from me. She does tons of canning, so she's gonna give me a call next time that she's gonna go wild with her canner, and I'm gonna go down and kind of pick her brain and get some good ideas and be comfortable with what I'm doing. So,
Nice.
and the last thing is I really want to improve my physical fitness. I know that's lacking. Yeah, losing weight and just improving my overall health. So
I need to add one thing to my list now. A little bit better home defense because Jeff is talking garden. I am talking garden, which means Jeff's going to come and steal my garden.
He's gonna wait for yours to be big enough and just like root them up and put them in his.
yeah.
Hey, Jeff, did you already get the pressure canner? Or are you still looking for one?
No, I got one. I got
Oh.
I got a used All American 915. So it's the smaller one. It's older, much older. But those
It
things
was
are
in good shape,
So
It's not as old as Scott, right?
Nothing's that old. But honestly, yeah, like if you're thinking there might be a couple like parts that could be like improved or like what do you call it, updated, you can actually phone them up, and if they don't have them for you, they can tell you where to get them. And usually it's home hardware. But I mean, if you're missing a pressure gauge or a weight or anything, like you can always get parts for it.
Well, that's what I was talking with the lady at the prepper meet. Is it's an older one, and it doesn't have the All Americans have a circular weight that sits on top of the steam part of it, so it'll go with the PSI 5, 10, 15.
Mm-hmm.
This one has kind of a latch on it, sort of. So I'm not exactly sure how it works. I'd really have to read into the instructions, but that's what she suggested, was seeing if I could swap it out for a newer one that just has the weight on it, because she said that's a huge game changer.
Yeah, so what it is that steam release that's actually threaded in there, and so you can heat it up, like literally, like just take a heat gun to it. I do believe you can wind that out, and then you can actually put in the nozzle that has the weight capability, and yeah, it's one of those little improvements you can do.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, so hopefully, I get the garden, and I can can stuff after the garden's good, and so yeah, we'll see how that goes. The lady down there also mentioned that she built a tower garden for like indoors in the winter. It's more of a tower, and it's got the plants come out the side, and she's like, there's more food there than I can eat.
So. Yeah, no, I know what she's talking about. Those things are pretty cool. We're looking at different options for. You can buy them; they're not that cheap, but I mean, if you get the good plans or whatever, you can build one for fairly inexpensive with like a good pump system or whatever. It's almost like a hydroponic system.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. So for my preps, we want to work on a little bit more of long-term food storage. There we go. So we were pretty good for everything, but we want to work on the long-term stuff if we decide that the collapse has arrived and everything, or crazy power outage, EMP power is going to be out for a long time. We do have good food storage in our freezer, but that does rely a bunch of other stuff. So we want to try and get on something away from that. That's maybe not, store-bought. So we're going to work on our garden as well. And as we have learned, don't grow anything you don't plan on eating, because that's square footage that is usable for something else, right? Like if you don't eat squash, don't grow squash. just, I mean, if you want to and you've got the extra room or whatever, or someone else eats squash and they're growing more tomatoes than they can eat, fine, do a swap or whatever. Not a bad thing to have good seeds, even though you don't eat it. Those packs, just like we eat lots of carrots, this, that. So we'll pick up, let's say, 3-4 packs of those, and then throw in like one pack of like 4 things you don't really plan on eating. That could be a bartering thing later. Someone else is like, they need their squash, once a week, and you've got seeds for it, and they want it that bad. You could probably good bartering tool. So we're gonna work on that. Same, we want to try some canning. We don't have the pressure canner, but water bath, grow some tomatoes, bunch of stuff. Mel's made salsa at home a few times. It's been half canned like paste and then a bunch of fresh veggies. But I'm like, it turned out fantastic. We couldn't keep it, but I'm like, you know what? Let's try and get a bunch of tomatoes and everything, and like start making stuff for ourselves. So we're gonna want to try that, and hopefully we'll get to the pressure canner at some point to get some better stuff. And then, so depending if we can find house property or what we can do or whatever, want to grow big into more long-term storage, way bigger garden. And then because we've recently decided that we should buy 2 rifles to try out a competitions this summer, hopefully. Same, I want to take a few extra shooting courses for different rifles, pistol caliber stuff, get some more range time in, whether it's at a range or a spot where you are allowed to discharge a firearm with whatever consent of the properties, all within legal rights. Get a little bit into that, get a little more familiar with it. It is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and we finally said, noticing that the price went up on everything in the last few years, I was like, it's not going to go back down, so it's only going to get more expensive. So we decided, I guess you could say, bite the bullet, and did a nice little upgrade for a long range shooting things that we want to try out. So we're going to do that, as well as, like Ian was saying, the whole load development. I went down a rabbit hole, like 3 days of nonstop looking into stuff, and then I started looking into reloading stuff. I want to upgrade my press, at least specifically just for this, and then I gotta, so lots and lots of extra stuff like that. So get a little bit more knowledge. So maybe not the best way of getting stuff, but watching a bunch of YouTube videos on people that aren't just the regular person or whatever, reputable people, about how they do reloading, how they do this, how do they do that, get all that knowledge and understanding ahead of time. Hopefully find some courses, someone with way more experience, show me more hands-on of how to do stuff. So we're just looking to expand the knowledge and expand the fun, hopefully.
Yeah, I think if you're not having fun, it's going to be a waste of time. Like, you just get frustrated after a while and get burned out, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's been something I've been wanting to do for very, very, like, even before I got my firearms license. Now that we have it, it's been a thing, and Mel's all up for it, So we said, hey, look, like, since the COVIDs, I'm left-handed, so I'm like, I can't even find one of these. We finally found some in stock somewhere, and I was like, well, it's your birthday, so here's yours, and I also got myself one, right? So so we did that, and we're starting to get familiar with it. Still got a little bit of work to do to them, but we got them all sighted. Well, sorry, not sighted in, but got the scopes on it. Got the good eye relief. These have adjustable cheek pads, so I got mine set up nicely. We're working on hers right now, and just all that stuff. And then obviously, get the daughter involved. She's got her little single shot youth rascal. She loves coming shooting with us. So like, get her involved, right? Like, hey, look, this is what we're doing. When she comes out shooting, when we get home, one of the first things we do is like, you got to clean your gun.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go downstairs and get everything. And you wanted to take this out and go shooting. You need to come home and clean it.
Yep.
So, we help her out and teach her whatever, So that, and we also want to capitalize a little bit more on good family time. So daughter's big on doing crafts and will do anything by herself. I'll do whatever. So we want to try and allocate some time for, you know, something that, my time, something I want to do just for me. Same for Mel and same for her daughter. But we also want to, everybody's got their thing, but we want to try and work more on a little bit more family time where it's like you put everything away, and, whether it be game nights, movie nights, let's go out and go for supper and go walk a store, whatever. So we kind
Nice.
of want to try and work on, hey, I'm doing the ruck challenge right now. So, it goes up to, I think, 2 hours or whatever once a week. So make, they're going to be on me to make sure I do that. And then, yeah, even if it's just, a few hours once a week, hey, you need your time, you go do your thing, we'll be good and whatever. So yeah, we want to try and kind of, because, if it all goes to crap and it's just us, we got to be able to have our separate things, but, want to work a little bit more on the family part of, hanging out. If it's the end of the world and it's just us and a bunch of cockroaches, got to have some fun somehow.
Oh, and
Oh, that's good.
politicians, they survive everything too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But the one,
Um,
no, sorry. I was going to say the one thing that Dan says, I've seen seeds already out on the floor at my local seed store. Always grab them when you can. And
Yep.
Joey said the same thing. A prepper friend at work suggested I should start buying seeds now to beat the rush. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep, not a bad idea.
With a lot more people wanting to grow gardens, stuff's going to start
Mhm.
disappearing. So
That
Well,
too.
probably
Yeah.
isn't a
Yeah.
bad time now to start stocking up.
Yeah,
lettuce,
how
seeds,
much-
and everything else to be good, and that would maybe is a time to good start start experimenting indoors with like keeping the heads of your green onions, throwing them back in,
Mhm.
into like a little bit of soil to see if you can keep growing those. Like, why not? It's something you can do year round. One thing I should really do that I haven't done yet is start planting some mint indoors because got to have my mojitos at some point, right?
Yeah, don't put
yeah.
that. If you have a raised garden, that's fine, but don't put that in your regular garden.
Oh,
If
I
you
would love
grow
to.
crop-
I put mint
Oh.
everywhere on the acreage this last year, and not a single bit of it survived. It's not invasive here at all.
No,
No,
Huh?
it doesn't
man.
get away on us here.
Our friends had property, and like when they bought their house a little while ago, like 3-4 years ago or whatever, right? Like there's this little like mint patch, and then like they did the garden thing, and it's just like mint everywhere. And like midway through the summer, like we went over, and they're like, "You guys want mint? Like rip everything out." Like yeah, it's very bad. I don't know about.
Huh.
I mean, I guess not in BC here, but like yeah, if you want to do mint, put it in like a raised little bed somewhere
Contain it. Got
completely
it.
separate. Yeah.
Or
Try and
drink
contain it.
more mojitos. It sounds like you just don't drink.
That,
them.
yeah. I'm failing to see the problem here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
mojito.
yeah.
Yeah. So Denny says, "Hey Ian and Pierre, have you heard about the 4570 lower for the AR?" Got some bad news, Denny. I mean, while 4570 government is like the only government I trust, unfortunately, both AR lowers and uppers are prohibited in Canada now. So, yeah, heard of it, can't get it or use it or look at it or anything. So,
I've
Or even
heard of
talk about
but-
it. YouTube, it's been fun.
yeah. Anyway, Rock and Ryan asks, any plans on updating your medical preps, practicing surgical medicine, nursing, or various ages, I guess?
I wanted to try
Yeah.
the nursing thing, but I tried the outfit on, didn't look right, so I just gave up on it.
It worked for the Joker. It worked for you too, man.
No.
Yeah, no, honestly, I
Great
think
point.
I'm okay for now for medical stuff, but I mean, obviously, if Ragnarok or somebody puts on a course, I'll gladly take it. One thing I would like to try and get is one of those practice suturing kits that you get on Amazon where you can like practice doing sutures. But in the meantime, I'll probably just suck it up and go Rambo style on it or whatever, and like gunpowder light or whatever. But staple, yeah,
Crazy
That's
clothes.
actually-
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
that's actually in our first aid kit all the time because it's better than nothing. But
Yep.
yeah, actually practicing the suture kits you can buy, yes, on Amazon, wherever. Little kits, that fake skin. It's got a bunch of different lacerations or whatever. Yeah, that's actually something I've been wanting to do for a while, even though I hate needles. I have no problem stabbing people with needles, but I don't like needles going at me, even though I have tattoos. That's a lie. But yeah, it has been something that I'm like, hey, they're $40-$50, pretty much reusable for a bunch of stuff. Practice stitching, everything,
Yeah.
or just crazy glue everything closed at that point, and then you can say you know what you're doing.
Mark Ryan says you can practice with pig skin. I mean,
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
get your buddy drunk and sit on top of him and just practice.
Wait till
I
he
mean,
falls down and then fix him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
pig skin. I mean, go see your local butchers. Go see the local farmers. You know, if they've got a pig that something happened and they're gonna bury it in the back, and they call you ahead of time. Hey, you want to practice making a stitch or whatever on something that's maybe not alive, but as close as it's gonna get to actual real skin. Well, technically it is real skin. But, okay, make a cut here and stitch it up, see how it is, and take the stitches out and give it to your dog.
Yeah, chicken skin would probably be a little thin, but I mean, pig skin would be more realistic because it's very close to human on many levels.
Yeah, it's a good one to add to the list.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, shall we move into the podcast challenge?
All right. So I'm going to get everybody to pick 3 attainable, realistic goals to improve your preps and make a plan to achieve them. Let us know how it goes.
All right, we've got some upcoming events. So we've got free online training for making herbal remedies coming up on January the 26th. So the link will be in the show notes for that, and I'll put it in the live chat here as well.
All right, we've also got a Orangeville gun show January 29th in, just north of Orangeville, a place called Mono, I think. And no jokes there. Anyway, there's usually a big pavilion there. I think that they did an alpaca show there once, but yeah, so it's going on like 4 times this year, but January 29th and then the next one. So that's it.
Mono is a place.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kissing disease.
No.
Yeah, don't kiss anyone in Mono. Bad idea.
No. That's how things start.
All right, Jeff, you got a weather blurb?
Sure, I just have 2 words and I'm done. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, 2 words. Polar vortex.
Cool, thanks, Jeff. All right.
Yeah, it's looking more and more like it's coming. A big piece of the polar vortex is probably coming down towards the end of this coming week. Anticipation of minus 35s to minus 40s in northwestern Ontario. Not quite as cold in the southern parts, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some minus 25s, minus 30s, especially Simcoe County and north, and minus 30, 35s in the North Bay, Sudbury area. There should be similar temperatures across the prairies and even down into the northern U.S. The change in the jet stream has caused a somewhat more active weather track, especially for Ontario into today. We got a little bit of snow today. Wednesday, Thursday, they are looking at the potential for a substantial snowstorm. They're calling anywhere from 15 to 20 centimeters, basically from the Muskokas down into the GTA and that. So you'll hear all the Toronto people complaining that they're in the ditch. This could potentially, with the polar vortex and the way the storm tracks move, could set the stage for some fairly intense snow squalls. The ice coverage on the Great Lakes right now is only 4.4%. Last year at this time, it was 16.2. So there is a ton of open water out there. So, which of course is ripe and prime for snow squalls. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Those are the potentials I'm giving you. Obviously, I mean, the last snow that we were supposed to get last week on Wednesday, right up until midnight, everybody was calling saying our area was going to get 7 to 10 centimeters. I got up in the morning and it had changed to 5 centimeters, and by 9 o'clock in the morning it was 1 to 3, and we didn't even get 1 centimeter. So things can drastically change, and it's unfortunate that sometimes that happens. And I know people get upset and they just stop listening, and that's a bad thing. But forecasting weather is far from a true science. It's kind of a hit and miss, but just trying to help you out as best I can.
So I wonder how many people are going to take their skidoos out in the open water now and just try and keep them wound up. And
I guess I shouldn't say it, but two people went through the ice this afternoon on 6 Mile Lake in Ontario. They rescued one, and one is still missing. So the guy that or the person, I don't know if it was a guy. I'm just that got rescued was airlifted to a trauma center, and the other one is still missing. So
That's why I don't trust skidoos. You got to go across water. Yeah, it's frozen or whatever.
you know what? There's nothing.
I'll turn around and go home.
I will say this. I'll go across water when it's been staked by the local snowmobile club, or if I talk to a local ice hut operator or something, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there's 8 inches of ice out there." Because ice hut guys are one of the best ones to talk to because they won't send their people out there unless there's good ice for liability purposes. So, but outside of that, yeah, I'm not going to run on a lake that isn't staked, or I haven't talked to somebody and gotten good, credible information on solid ice.
Yeah, I don't trust them.
Yeah, I think I spent,
and I just don't trust it. But that's just me. I guess you could say that's a fear, right? Like drowning in ice cold water under ice.
No thanks.
No thanks.
Oh yeah, no, I think I spent what was it, a minute and a half in ice cold water there trying to rescue the dog one time, and that was more than enough. So
yeah. Which I mean, unlikely if you're not stupid and you pay attention, and like Jeff said, right, you talk to someone and you know the ice is good or whatever. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, nah, I'm good. That's just me,
the ice this year, obviously with the weather, the ice is just junk, and people are out ice fishing and they're running their ATVs out there. And I think it was down the south end of Lake Simcoe last week. Somebody put their ATV through the ice, and it wasn't totally through, but and they didn't get that badly soaked or whatever, but they went to shore and got another ATV and came back to try and get it. And by the time they came back, it was gone, like gone. So
actually out close where I am, there's, a spot where everybody puts up, there's like 200 ice fishing huts or whatever. I guess one guy decided to go out there or whatever. Yeah. I don't know, about 6 inches of the top of this guy's Jeep Grand Cherokee was sticking out of the water until like May when they finally towed it out. Just because he decided to go out with, an ATV would have probably been fine, but this guy took like his full size pickup truck and sank it to the bottom. Well, not the bottom, but just right through. And I'm like, I don't know if insurance will cover that, buddy.
Nope.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Right? Oh, walk. I mean, whatever, do it safe. There's obviously people out there that'll do whatever. That's just the thing I'm not a fan of. But yeah, just, kind of be smart about it. Yep. Best decision is probably not after 12 beers.
Yeah, make it at least 14.
Yeah. At that point, you won't even remember when you wake up, and who knows what island.
Oh, boy. Right. With that, shall we move into Deal of the Week?
Yes, so Princess Auto, big shocker. A 4-pack of 30 cal ammo cans, but they come in a nice tote crate for $30. So just when I thought I didn't need anything, I'm gonna go figure out how to get 2-3 of these. Yeah, they're fantastic. I have them. I have one in my truck, always full of food, just in case. Yeah, good purchase. Definitely, if you've got a Princess Auto around, or you can order online, or worth buying at least 1 or 2 if you've got the funds for it.
Awesome. Anybody on the panel have any shout outs?
No, sir.
I'll do a shout out. I know Kevin's on, but to the group that met up today down in Barrie, the prepper group. It was good to get out and just have a good chat, conversations, and be out and with like-minded people and get ideas and thoughts from those kind of people. They're good to have around. So it was a good day.
It's a fantastic group. Always all kinds of good conversation and great people to sit down and have a coffee with. And just like you said, lots of like-minded individuals, and sit around, have a coffee, and just talk about the world. It's a good little group. I'm disappointed I couldn't make it out today. Say next month. All right, let's move into email and iTunes reviews.
All right, so listener Brian linked us to a World Economic Forum tweet, which was predicting a major cyber attack. So just like Bill Gates likes to talk about pandemics before they happen, and so on and so on. Yeah, they're openly talking about how the next major problem society is going to face is a major cyber attack. I'm like, how do you know that? So, anyways, it's just kind of fascinating to watch.
Obviously, a listener.
Yeah, so some of the guys obviously.
Do I have
on
an
there.
episode for you?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just find it more funny than anything else, like the I guess like the poster
Well,
child for
maybe
bad
it's time
guys.
to maybe it's time to work on my Faraday box a little, move that a little further up the priority list.
Maybe.
Oh, not so much an EMP attack, just a cyber attack, which just means all the financial stuff goes offline and everything else. Just like they had the NOTAM system for pilots offline in both countries there last week, halted all air traffic and
Oh,
stuff.
for
So
that,
anyway,
yeah, the airlines, yeah, that was a crap show.
yeah, and totally not as discussed in the media. But anyway,
Of course. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you
Yeah, I
suggesting the
know.
media was lying to us?
It could be. Anyway, I also got an email from John. Says I realized it had been some time or many months since I had heard from your podcast. I feared that the increasingly authoritarian Canadian government had shut you guys down or deplatformed you. Turns out that I just reset my iPhone and not all the podcasts repopulated. Glad you're still up there. Well,
We're still here for now.
yeah, Bill C11, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So C11 is going to take care of us, I'm sure, but that hasn't passed yet. So
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll find ways, I'm sure.
yeah.
Tune in tomorrow for.
All right, we've got a new iTunes or Apple Podcast or whatever you want to call it review. It's titled "Informative and Yet Somehow Jovial," and it says it's from Kill the Sea Turtles, and it says "Came for the can openers, stayed for the ham radio."
And did mention the dad jokes, did they?
No.
No, but was it a 5-star?
It was. It was a 5-star
Oh,
review,
nice.
which I appreciate. So that's good. So I haven't gone on a 1-star rampage in a while.
No.
No rage quitting, like wouldn't that
No.
be that was a 5-star for sure? But
No, we don't have Alan here. The rage quit. It's too bad.
No.
With that, I will bring episode number 192 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast to an end. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, or of course your favorite podcast app. Wow. Please help us out. Submit a review. It does help other people find us.
And we do record these shows live on Facebook and YouTube. If you want an early peek at the shows, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Canadian Prepper Podcast, and click the notifications tab. That will give you an alert when we are going live. If you want to contact me, you can reach me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca, or I am frequently on the Discord.
You can find me, Tickety Talk, Instagram, Off the Wall Customizing, where you can get your t-shirt designs, or on Monday nights at 9 on YouTube, because we're not allowed on anything else for the other CPP. I am on the Discord, just not very often. Send me a private message on there, or the Gilded app for the other CPP. That's about it.
Right on. You can reach Ian directly by emailing me at theislandretreat@gmail.com. You can also find me with Pierre on Canadian Patriot Podcast, where we record live on YouTube. Yeah, he said Mondays, I guess 9 p.m. Eastern. That's tomorrow. I'm not allowed anywhere else, so I'm on the Gilded app for the OG CPP. Email us if you want an invite. I mean, why not? They can find us discussing why government waste in society has me focusing on goals with a little bit of added time pressure.
All right. Please check out Rapid Survival at rapidsurvival.com. You can get me there on the live chat. You can also email me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, be prepared, stay safe,
and keep learning.